Have you ever wondered if there's like a single source code for all of reality? Something that connects absolutely everything, from the biggest stars all the way down to your own thoughts. Well, today we're going to dive into one of the most profound ideas in all of human history, the Tao. And here's the kicker. As you're about to see, it might just be something you already know, hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so we've got to start with this famous paradox from the Tao Te Ching. It goes, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Now, think about that for a second. It's a pretty profound statement, right? It's basically telling us that the very moment we try to put a label on this ultimate reality, to pin it down with words, poof, we've already missed the point. But that doesn't mean we can't explore the clues it leaves behind. Far from it. And, this idea of a single universal source, it's not just a Taoist thing. Not at all. It's this theme that just keeps popping up in religions and philosophies all over the world. It's like this deep, shared human intuition that there has to be some kind of fundamental principle, that source code for reality, that holds everything we see and experience together. So, to really see how this universal idea takes shape, we're going to explore three totally distinct paths: Christianity, Taoism, and Buddhism. Now, they all use different words, different symbols, but here's the big question. Are they all pointing to the same ultimate truth? Let's find out. Okay, let's start with Christianity. In the Gospel of John, it talks about the Word, this divine, creative force that was there right at the very beginning of time. But here is where it gets really fascinating. When the Bible was first translated into Chinese, you know what character they chose for the Word? It was Dao. Dao. They saw it as the perfect equivalent for this principle that created everything. Now, Lao Tzu's description, it's amazingly similar, but with its own unique flavor. He calls the Tao the mother of all things. Get this, it's something that existed before heaven and earth, even before the gods or what he calls the emperor of heaven. It's totally formless, totally empty, and yet it's this inexhaustible wellspring that the entire universe just flows from. And then you have the Buddhist perspective, which gives us another incredible angle. The Diamond Sutra says that the reality we think we see, it's kind of like a dream, an illusion. But when you wake up from that dream, you encounter what's truly real, the Tathagata. You can translate that as the one who has thus come. It doesn't come from anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere, it has no beginning, no end. It simply is. And this fundamental, unchanging reality, well, it's just another name for the Tao. So, when you put it all together like this, it's pretty incredible, right? You've got the Word, the Tao, and the Tathagata. Three different names from three completely different traditions, but they're all pointing to the exact same thing, a single universal source, this eternal, formless, creative principle that is the absolute foundation of everything. Okay, so if we can bring all these ancient insights together, can we start to, build a profile of the Tao? What can we actually say it is? Well, based on what we've seen from these traditions, we can actually pull out 8 key attributes that give us a much clearer picture of what we're talking about. And when you look at these attributes, they paint a picture of something just massive and multifaceted. I mean, it's the source of the entire universe, but it existed even before the gods. It's somehow both totally empty and contains everything. It's the force that moves all things, a system that looks chaotic on the surface but has this deep, invisible order. It's even said to have its own consciousness and meaning, and you can see it at work in all the natural laws, from the birth of a star, to birth and death, to how societies rise and fall. This brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? If this incredibly powerful, all-encompassing thing actually exists, where is it? I mean, do you have to go climb a mountain or meditate in some ancient temple to find it? Well, the answer turns out to be a lot closer to home. Because the Tao isn't separate from you. It is you, and it's everything around you. It's in the simple act of eating and drinking. It's in a lover's heartbeat and an enemy's anger. It's in the chaos of stock market crashes and the simple beauty of a flower blooming. It's in the middle of a storm, in your dreams, and in your own mind. It is the very fabric of every single one of your experiences. So this leads to a really beautiful paradox, right? If we're already in the Tao, kind of like a fish is in water, then what does it even mean to seek it? It doesn't quite make sense. And this brings us to a classic Taoist analogy that just perfectly nails this dilemma. They say that seeking the Tao is like riding a donkey to find the donkey. Just picture that for a second. You're already on the donkey, but you're looking all over the place for it.
The whole point is that you already have what you're looking for. The journey isn't about going out and finding something new. It's all about that big aha moment, that profound realization that you are and you have always been exactly where you're supposed to be.
Okay, so how do you actually have that realization? How do you become aware of the donkey you're already riding? Well, the whole process starts with a kind of orientation. It's about figuring out where you are right now. It's about finding your own cosmic coordinates on this vast map of existence.
And that journey, it begins with three absolutely timeless questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? And where am I going? These are the real keys to self-discovery. Because think about it, before you can even begin to grasp the vastness of the Tao, you first have to understand the self that's doing the seeking. This is the true starting point. Now, I know this might sound a little abstract, but there's actually a pretty practical roadmap for this quest. First, you find your reference frame. You figure out who you are by comparing yourself to others. Then you start asking those huge foundational questions about your purpose. After that, you zoom out and contemplate the very nature of reality, of space and time. From there, you prepare for the journey ahead, gathering the fuel, the knowledge and virtue you're going to need. And finally, you find your guides by studying the wisdom left behind by the greats who walked this path before you, people like Jesus, Buddha, and Laozi. So that first step, finding your reference frame, a big part of that is some really honest self-assessment. The source material actually lays out these different archetypes of people, all the way from the enlightened sage down to what's called the muddled person. And the goal here isn't to judge yourself at all. It's just about honestly seeing where you are, right now, on this map, so you know which direction you need to turn. So, we've looked at what the Tao is, where you can find it, which is everywhere, and how you might even begin to seek it. But this brings us right back to that central, beautiful paradox we started with. If you're already on the donkey, what does finding it even mean? And this is the final crucial insight. There never was a destination, a place you could arrive at. The entire process, the act of asking, who am I, of seeking your cosmic coordinates, of studying the wisdom of the ages, that whole thing is the act of seeking the Tao. The search itself is the answer. So really, the question was never whether you can find the Tao. The real question is, are you brave enough to truly begin the search?